All right, so let's jump right in. If you're following the AI space, you probably noticed this week felt a little different. I mean, there weren't any of those mind-blowing demos that completely break the internet. But don't let the quiet fool you, because underneath it all, something way more important was happening. We're talking about a fundamental shift in direction.
And that's really the key here. Beneath the surface of the usual news cycle, this really clear and powerful pattern is starting to emerge. And it's a huge signal that AI is, well, it's maturing. It's moving past just what it can do and into what it should do.
So, what's defining this new direction? It really comes down to this core tension. See, on the one hand, AI systems are just becoming wildly more autonomous, more capable of acting all on their own. But on the other hand, our expectations for safety, for reliability, and for quality are getting way, way stricter. You've got these two forces pulling in opposite directions, and that friction, well, that's what's defining the entire next era of AI.
Okay, so let's break that down. Let's look at that first force, this huge push towards autonomy. This is where we get into the absolutely fascinating and, yeah, maybe slightly unnerving world of what people are calling agentic AI.
So, what does that actually mean in plain English? Well, think of it this way. Unlike a simple tool that just follows a direct command, you can give an agentic system a goal, and it'll figure out all the steps to get there by itself. It can plan, it can adapt if it hits a wall, and it can act on its own initiative. Basically, it doesn't need a human holding its hand every single step of the way.
And this idea, it gets really serious when you think about it in a real-world scenario, like cybersecurity, where, experts are already sounding the alarm about autonomous attacks. Just picture this for a second. An AI agent is let loose on a network. It could scan for weaknesses, find a vulnerability, switch up its tactics on the fly if it gets blocked, and just keep on going. And it does all this without a human operator even in the loop.
This is the big takeaway, right? We're leaving behind the era where threats moved at human speed. When an AI can act on its own, attacks can happen at machine speed, a pace that human defenders there's no way they can keep up. This is a total game changer.
All right, so that's one side of the coin, that push for more power. Now let's flip it over and look at the other side of this tension, the pull towards quality and control. Because as these AI tools get better and easier for everyone to use, something really fascinating is happening to our expectations.
This quote, it just nails it. Think about it. A year ago, pretty much any AI image felt like magic, right? Now? Not so much. It's incredibly easy to create something with AI, but it's become ridiculously hard to create something that's actually good. Something that feels authentic and that people actually trust.
And I bet you felt this yourself, right? We're all getting kind of tired of the generic low-effort AI stuff. We can spot those weird digital artifacts, the poorly prompted images, the text that just feels soulless. Yeah, our collective patience for mediocrity is just dropping like a rock.
Which means the game has changed. The competitive advantage isn't just about having access to the AI anymore. It's all about how you use it. It's about taste, it's about intent, it's about judgment. You know what? Skill is making a comeback.
Okay, so you've got these two massive forces, right? The drive for more autonomy and the demand for more control. And when you smash those two together, you get the next major phase for this whole technology, what we're calling AI's operational era. It's finally moving out of the lab and into the real world.
And this shift, it is completely changing the definition of what it means to win in AI. It used to be so simple. It was all about raw capability, who had the biggest, baddest model. But now, the real advantage is in things like control, safety, predictability, and just genuine usefulness.
And you can see companies are already acting on this. I mean, they're slowing down their release cycles. They're putting way more emphasis on alignment, making sure the AI actually shares our values. They're building stronger safety guardrails, and they're pouring money into just monitoring how these systems behave out there in the wild.
So this is kind of the new mantra we're hearing. Look, raw power is impressive for sure, but it is not enough anymore. The companies that are going to succeed are the ones who can steer these incredibly powerful systems in a reliable way. So yeah, control is the win.
I mean, a model that can do a million things, but none of them particularly well, that's just a toy. But an AI that actually solves a real problem for real people and does it safely and effectively, now that's a tool. So usefulness is the win.
And finally, and this one might just be the most important of all, think about it. If you can't trust an AI to behave predictably, you can't build a business on it. You can't build a product on it. You can't build a critical system on top of it. Trust is literally everything. Predictability is the win.
So what we saw this week really signaled a major shift. AI is growing up. It's moving from the experimental phase in the lab and into our daily lives. And that leaves us with a pretty critical question to chew on. As we get more and more control over these unbelievably powerful systems, are we actually ready for the immense responsibility that comes with that?